Hi Libra, and welcome to your October 2023 horoscope. There is a lot happening in October. It's eclipse season, and after watching this video, if you still feel a little bit unsure about the month ahead and you want more one-on-one guidance, then I wanted to let you know that my books are open. I have 10 spots available at the beginning of October for personalized eclipse reading. It's 30 minutes long, it's one-on-one. We're going to sit down, we're going to open up your charts and take a look more precisely and with more detail at your chart. What planets are the eclipses hitting and what other progressions and transits are happening in your life that are influencing this larger story. So if this sounds like something for you, the booking link is down below in the description box. We start off the month between October 2nd and the 4th with Mars conjunct the South Node in your first house. Venus from the 11th house is trining Mars and the South Node. You are a peacekeeper, Libra, and this whole month is asking you to step away from that, to take a look at all of the ways in which you are keeping the peace and the harmony and failing to stand up for yourself. Take a look at all of the wonderful things you learned over the summer about your future, about the vision and the goals that you have for yourself in the next 10, 20, 30 years, and really dig deep into those goals, that why, that motivation to allow you to speak up and stand up for yourself during this month. The energies continue to get more intense as the month goes on, and more specifically between the 8th of October and the 10th of October, we have another big moment. Mars moves away from the South Node in its final degrees of Libra, and as it does that, it starts to square Pluto in Capricorn. At the same time, Venus finally leaves the 11th house for you, enters Virgo in your 12th, and as it does that, it opposes Saturn in Pisces. So there's a lot of squares and oppositions, so this can be a really intense day. And if you didn't happen to grab the chance at the beginning of the month to make some changes, then you might find that you're faced again with the same story between the 8th and the 10th of October. You tend to overthink, and having Venus entering your 12th house, which is a very analytical house for you with Virgo being there, you might find that this period is troubled with overthinking. But just remember to really step into that maturity that Saturn is asking from you at this time in your 6th house. Really remove yourself from the feelings and all of the overthinking and start to look at the day-to-day routine and start to become a little bit more mature and a little bit more practical in that area of your life. That will help you a lot during this time. If you have any old tendencies, any old outdated beliefs as to the type of foundation that you need and what brings you security, I'm guessing as a Libra, what brings you security is having really nice relationships around you. I would really challenge you around this time to question that. Question if you really need the relationships around you to feel safe and secure, or if you can somehow get that within yourself as well. Finally, if you've been shoving all of this under the rug, you can no longer do so, because on the 14th, it will all come back out, and it will come out with a big bang. This is because on the 14th, we have a solar eclipse in Libra. So we have the sun, the moon, Mars, Mercury, as well as the South Node, all in your first house. And during this time, the solar eclipse will roughly be squaring Pluto in your 4th house, and also roughly trining Saturn in your 6th house. So the same stories, the same themes are just being repeated over and over throughout the month. We're being very graciously gifted with many opportunities to learn our lesson. After the solar eclipse, we have a little bit of time to calm back down, to integrate the lessons. The planets move away from the south node, slowly start to enter Scorpio. And as the sun moves away from the south node, it enters the final degrees of Libra. And as it does so, it also squares Pluto. This transit, I don't think will be super intense. The sun moves quite quickly. So that's one reason why I say that. But at the same time, we have a really beautiful aspect between Venus and Jupiter during the same time that the sun is squaring Capricorn. So Jupiter in your 8th house will be trining Venus in your 12th house. So if you have done the work through the first half of the month to really take a look at all of the ways you try to keep harmony and peace and really associate that with who you are, all of the ways that you rely on others to help you feel secure in yourself. If you have done all of that work, then on the 21st, there will be a really nice reward with Venus and Jupiter. Being in quite personal and intimate houses, you might find that it allows you to really easily bond with others in a way that you didn't think was even possible. Sometimes when we keep peace and harmony, we remain on a very shallow level with others. But when we actually speak our mind, when we actually show what we feel, and we're not afraid of conflict, then we can actually create relationships that are really strong, really powerful, and really passionate. So I see the 21st as a potential for a really nice reward. 2 days later, the sun officially leaves Libra, and on the 23rd, it enters Scorpio. As it enters Scorpio, it trines Saturn. It's a beautiful shift from the 23rd onwards, and actually the rest of October and into November, because we have a lot of energies moving from your 1st house and into your 2nd house. So it's a really interesting conversation that's happening. You have re-examined all of the ways that you tend to keep peace for the sake of your own security, for the sake of your own identity. And now it's time to apply that into establishing your own self-worth, turning it into a practical thing with your routine, with how you show up, with all of the possessions that you have around you, and to really allow it to become a little bit more practical and a little bit more tangible. We have a bit of a break until the lunar eclipse, but it's not that long of a break because the lunar eclipse is on the 28th of October. So for this lunar eclipse, we have the Sun, Mercury, and Mars in Scorpio, and they are opposing the Moon and Jupiter in Taurus. So this is again highlighting your 2nd and your 8th house. So a big conversation for you, a big part of what you're thinking about and experiencing during this lunar eclipse is around your self-esteem and allowing yourself to bond with others. You tend to scrutinize all the time what you base your worth in. And this lunar eclipse will only emphasize that. So try to make sure that you are not too hard on yourself during this lunar eclipse, but at the same time, try to keep the balance and not step too much back into your peacekeeping self and back into really needing others and their support to surround you at all times. And finally, we close off the month with Venus trining Uranus. Venus is in your 12th house and Uranus is in your 8th. You have experienced a lot of ups and downs when it comes to your intimate life in the last couple of years. So really allow yourself during this day, during October 31st, to take all of the beautiful, rich inner world that you've been experiencing for the last couple of weeks with Venus in your 12th house and let it enhance and allow you to bond deeper with others. If you are able to share with others your rich inner world, then you might find that you can actually create the most beautiful relationships that you've ever had. So overall, Libra, it's a month to consider who you are and the fact that you do not need to always be beautiful and peaceful and harmonic in order to be yourself. That is not your identity. I know you got this. Just keep thinking that it's a growth opportunity and it's a learning opportunity. And if this forecast left you feeling a little bit like, okay, I want a little bit more, I want to know what it means for me, then keep in mind my books are open. I have a couple of spots open for 30-minute personal eclipse readings. You can book them down below. There's only 10 of them, so make sure you book fast. Thank you for watching. Thank you for joining me. I do these every month, so if you want to make sure you catch the one in November, then make sure you subscribe. I hope to see you again soon.